The funeral was the easy part. It's amazing how many people show up to celebrate someone's life only after it ends. I stood there in my black dress, watching my uncles work the room like it was a networking event, and all I could think was, Dad would have hated this. My name is Caitlin, and at 28, I became an orphan and a CEO in the same week. Not that anyone expected the second part, least of all my uncles. Such a tragedy. Uncle Brent's voice oozed sympathy as he cornered me by the refreshment table. How are you holding up, sweetheart? I clutched my coffee cup tighter. I'm fine. Of course you are. He placed his hand on my shoulder. I resisted the urge to shake it off. Listen, we need to discuss the company situation. Your father's legacy. Uncle Wallace materialized beside him, already loosening his tie. We should handle this now while everyone's here. Private room upstairs? I knew this was coming. Dad's company, Clark Freight Solutions, had been struggling for years, or so they kept telling everyone. My uncles had been circling it like vultures since his diagnosis. The study upstairs still smelled like Dad's cigarettes. I perched on the leather armchair while they towered over me, tag-teaming their rehearsed speech. The company's worthless, Wallace said, spreading papers across the desk. Been bleeding money for years, but we're prepared to offer you $50,000 for your shares. Clean break. I blinked. $50,000? For a majority stake in a national logistics company? Brent's smile tightened. Honey, you don't understand business. The company's dying. We're doing you a favor. Your father... Wallace paused, probably for dramatic effect. He wasn't the businessman everyone thought. The books are a mess. Technology's outdated. It's a mercy deal. I looked at the contract they'd pushed toward me. It was already filled out, just waiting for my signature. They'd planned this, probably had it ready before Dad's body was cold. I need time to think, I said. There's nothing to think about. Brent leaned in close. Sign now? Take the money? Go live your life? What do you know about running a freight company anyway? I stood up, smoothing my dress. I said I need time. Don't be difficult, Caitlin. Wallace's voice hardened. Your father would want you to be practical. My father would want me to be smart. I headed for the door, but Brent blocked my path. The offer expires today, he said. After that, you're on your own with a failing company and mounting debts. I met his eyes. Then I guess I'm on my own. You're making a mistake, Wallace called after me as I pushed past them. You'll come crawling back when reality hits. Downstairs, the wait continued. Distant relatives, business associates, all of them stealing glances at me. Poor Caitlin, they probably thought. All alone now. No mother, no father, no clue what she's doing. I slipped into Dad's office while everyone was distracted by the catering. His desk was exactly as he'd left it. Organized chaos, he'd called it. The computer was off, but I knew the password. I'd helped him set it up during his last hospital stay. My hand brushed against something in his top drawer. Keys. A whole ring of them, labeled meticulously in his scratchy handwriting. Office. Storage. Filing cabinet. What are you doing in here? I jumped. Autumn, Dad's assistant, stood in the doorway. She'd been with the company for 5 years, the only person Dad trusted with his schedule. Just needed a minute, I said, pocketing the keys. She nodded, understanding in her eyes. They're trying to take it, aren't they? The company? They think they already have. Your father, she hesitated. He left something for you. In the safe behind that horrible painting of sailing ships. Said to wait until after... well, until now. I stared at the painting I'd always hated. Did my uncles know about this? No one knew except me, and I've got a feeling they wouldn't like what's in there. For the first time that day, I smiled. Then, I definitely need to see it. The wake droned on below us, but I barely heard it. All I could focus on was the weight of those keys in my pocket and the growing certainty that Dad's worthless company was anything but. My uncles wanted to play games? Fine. But they'd forgotten one crucial detail. I was my father's daughter, and I'd learned from the best. The office was exactly as Dad had left it. Dust motes danced in the beam of my flashlight as I worked late into the night, methodically going through every drawer, every file, every scrap of paper. Autumn had helped me disable the security cameras, just in case my uncles were monitoring them. "Your father was old school," she said, pulling another box from the storage room. "Everything important, he kept on paper." I sneezed, waving away dust. They must have missed something. The way they're pushing for a quick sale. There's more here. Speaking of which, Autumn checked her phone. "Brent called 3 times today. Wanted to know if you'd come to your senses yet." I ignored that, focusing on the safe behind the sailing ship painting. The combination took 4 tries. Dad's birthday, Mum's birthday, my birthday, and finally, the date he started the company. The door swung open with a satisfying click. Inside was a single USB drive and a voice recorder. My hands shook as I pressed play. "Katie girl." Dad's voice filled the room, stronger than I remembered from his final days. "If you're listening to this, it means you found something worth saving. The company, it's more than they know. Check the records from 6 years ago. Follow the money. And whatever you do, don't trust..." The recording cut off. "Don't trust who?" I rewound it, but there was nothing more. Autumn connected the USB to her laptop. "These files are encrypted, heavy-duty stuff too. Let me see." I pulled the computer closer. Dad might not have known about my coding side projects, but those sleepless nights were about to pay off. "It's a modified AES encryption. Give me an hour. Your uncles never mentioned you were good with computers." I smiled grimly. My uncles never mentioned anything about me except how unsuitable I am for business. The first files cracked around midnight. Shipping manifests, client lists, and then, bingo. Email correspondence with a company called NovaSign Technologies. "Look at this," I pointed to the screen. They were developing some kind of revolutionary tracking system. The deal was worth... "Holy shit," Autumn whispered. "Exactly." I scrolled through more emails. But something happened. The deal stalled 6 years ago, right when Brent became CFO. A knock at the door made us both jump. I slammed the laptop shut as Liam, my childhood friend, poked his head in. "Thought I'd find you here," he said. "Your Uncle Brent's looking for you. Something about a board meeting tomorrow?" Of course he is. I hadn't seen Liam in years, not since he'd left for Silicon Valley. "What are you doing here?" "Heard about your dad. Came to pay respects." He glanced at the scattered papers. "And maybe offer some help. Tech industry's my thing now, you know." I studied him carefully. "You work in logistics software?" "Among other things. My company partners with..." He stopped, eyes widening at something on my desk. "Is that a NovaSign logo?" The air suddenly felt electric. "You know them?" "Know them? I work with them. We've been trying to revive an old partnership with a logistics company for years, but..." He trailed off, understanding dawning on his face. "It was your dad's company, wasn't it?" I grabbed the laptop, opening the encrypted files. "Look at this. Tell me what you see." Liam leaned in, scanning the technical specifications. This is genius. Your dad was years ahead of his time. This system could revolutionize the entire industry. But my uncles killed it." "Your dad told me once this wasn't for them," Liam said quietly. "It was always for you." I sat back, mind racing. "The deal, is it still possible? With the right person in charge?" Liam grinned. "Absolutely." Autumn cleared her throat. "Brent and Wallace think they're forcing a board meeting tomorrow to remove you, But if you have proof of a viable deal— They don't just want to remove me, I said, pieces falling into place. They want to bury this. They've been trying to for years. I turned to Liam. How fast can you get Novasign on board? Give me 12 hours. I gathered the files, a plan forming. Then let's give my uncles exactly what they want, a board meeting. But this time, I'm running the show. The dust had chosen me, and I was about to make it rain. Morning came too quickly. I hadn't slept, running on coffee and determination as Autumn and I pieced together the puzzle. Red string connected documents across my office wall like something from a crime show. Your Uncle Brent's signature, Autumn pointed to a document. He personally rejected the Novasign deal, claiming technological incompatibility, while simultaneously selling off our tech development division, I added, tracing a line to another paper, making sure we'd never have the infrastructure to support it. My phone buzzed. Liam. Meeting set with Novasign exec, 9 a.m. Don't be late. The Novasign offices screamed success, all glass, chrome, and confidence. Xander Harding, their VP of Partnerships, met us in the lobby. Ms. Clark, he extended his hand. Your father was a visionary. We were devastated when the deal fell through. Fell through? I raised an eyebrow. Or was pushed. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. In his office, Xander pulled up historical emails. Your father's original proposal was revolutionary. Real-time tracking, predictive maintenance, automated routing, years ahead of competitors. And still relevant? I asked. More than ever. He turned his monitor. We've been developing similar systems, but your father's framework. He shook his head admiringly. It's elegant, simple, perfect. Show her the valuation, Liam prompted. Xander slid across a document. I read the number twice, certain I'd misunderstood. That's a lot of zeros. The offer stands, Xander said. With some modernization, of course, but we need an answer soon. Market's moving fast. My phone buzzed again. Wallace. Board meeting, 2 p.m., attendance mandatory. How soon is soon? I asked Xander. We could have preliminary paperwork ready by tomorrow. I stood up. Make it today, and keep it quiet. Back at the office, Autumn met me with fresh coffee and bad news. Your mother's here. What? I nearly dropped my cup. Mom hasn't been here in 15 years. But there she was, perched on the edge of my father's old desk, like she belonged there. Jolie, still elegant at 50, wearing grief like an expensive accessory. Darling, she air-kissed my cheek. The lawyers said I should be here for the probate proceedings. Lawyers? What lawyers? Your uncles are concerned about your emotional state, she said smoothly, making rash decisions, hiding in the office all night. They sent you to spy on me? I'm here to help, sweetheart. This business, it's too much for you. Everyone can see that. I laughed, harsh and hollow. 15 years of silence, and now you're here to help? Let me guess, they offered you a cut? Her flinch told me everything. Get out, I said quietly, and tell my uncles I'll see them at the board meeting. She paused at the door. You're just like him, you know. Too stubborn to know when you're beaten. No, Mom, I'm exactly stubborn enough. After she left, Autumn emerged from her desk. Novasign's lawyers are on line 1. They need signatures. The next few hours passed in a blur of documents and digital signatures. At 1:55 p.m., I straightened my blazer and grabbed my father's old briefcase. Ready? Autumn asked. One last thing. I opened Dad's safe again, reaching deep into the back. My fingers found what I was looking for, a small recorder identical to the one with his message. The boardroom was packed. Minor shareholders, legal representatives, and my uncles, looking smugly triumphant. Caitlin, Brent stood. Given recent events and concerning behavior, we're here to discuss a change in leadership. Sit down, Uncle Brent. I plugged a flash drive into the projector. First, I have something to share with the board. This is inappropriate, Wallace started. What's inappropriate, I cut him off, is how you sabotaged a multi-million-dollar deal 6 years ago. Would anyone like to see the proof? The room went deadly quiet. Or we could discuss the tech division sell-off, the hidden accounts, the systematic dismantling of every innovation Dad tried to implement. I met their eyes. I have it all. Brent's face went white. You're bluffing. I pressed play on the recorder. His own voice filled the room, discussing kickbacks from the tech division sale. The Nova Sign deal is back on, I announced to the stunned room. Unless, of course, anyone objects. The silence was deafening. Now then, I sat down at the head of the table. Shall we discuss the future of our company? The aftermath of the board meeting felt like the eye of a hurricane. My uncles retreated to their offices, phones buzzing constantly. The shareholders whispered in corners. And my mother? She was waiting in my office. That was quite a show, Jolie said, examining her manicure. Your father would have been proud. Would he? You haven't spoken to him in a decade. I knew him better than you think. She crossed her legs, settling in. Did you ever wonder why I left? Don't. I held up my hand. Whatever game you're playing, I'm not interested. No game, darling. Just truth. Your uncles approached me years ago about the Nova Sign deal. They wanted me to convince your father to drop it. My hand froze over the keyboard. What? They offered me money, of course, but I refused. She smiled thinly. That's when they started digging into my past. Found things that could have ruined me. So you ran. I left to protect myself. And you. A knock interrupted us. Liam stood in the doorway, looking uncomfortable. Sorry, but we need to discuss the integration timeline. We're done here anyway, I told my mother. Close the door on your way out. She paused at the threshold. They'll come after you harder now. Be careful who you trust. After she left, Liam spread technical documents across my desk. Nova Sign wants to move fast. Their team can start implementation next week. That's not fast enough. I pulled up our financial records. Look at these transfers. My uncles are moving money around. They can't touch the main accounts anymore, he said. You've got control. It's not about control. It's about... My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Ms. Clark? A deep voice. This is Marcus from the Financial Times. Care to comment on rumors about Nova Sign acquiring Clark Freight Solutions? I hung up. They're leaking to the press, trying to tank the deal. Liam grabbed his laptop. I'll call Xander. We can expedite. Another knock. Autumn rushed in, face flushed. You need to see this. Wallace is in the server room. Security footage showed Wallace and 2 IT guys removing hard drives. Those contain all our client data, Autumn said. Without them, we're dead in the water. I was already moving. Call security. Now. We reached the server room just as Wallace was zipping up a bag. His face reddened when he saw me. Company property, I said coldly. Put it back. Company property that I oversee, he sneered. Standard backup procedure. At 7 p.m., with no documentation? I stepped closer. Put it back. Or what? You'll call Daddy? He laughed. Oh, wait. Security arrived, followed by Brent. What's going on here? Brent asked innocently. Your brother's stealing company data, I said. Either he returns it, or I call the police. Now, let's not be hasty. Brent smiled. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, I pulled out my phone, is you thinking I'm bluffing. Again. Wallace's face twitched. He shoved the bag at a security guard. Happy? Not yet. I turned to the guard. Please escort my uncles out. Their access is revoked. You can't do this. Brent's smile vanished. We built this company. No, my father built this company. You just tried to steal it. After they left, Liam helped Autumn check the servers. Nothing critical was missing. They'll try something else, Autumn warned. Let them. I sat at my desk, Dad's old nameplate still there. We just need to hold on until the Nova Sign deal closes. About that, Liam looked up from his phone. Xander's called an emergency meeting. Tomorrow morning. Why? He wouldn't say. But Caitlin... He hesitated. Your mother was right. Be careful who you trust. I thought about Dad's cut-off recording. Don't trust who? My uncles? My mother? The deal itself? Get me everything you can on Nova Sign, I told Autumn. Past deals, financial records, board members, everything. You think they're playing us? Liam asked. I think everyone's playing someone. I picked up Dad's nameplate, running my fingers over the engraved letters. And I'm done being played. The office grew quiet as night fell, but I stayed, surrounded by papers and possibilities. Tomorrow would bring either salvation or destruction. I needed to be ready for both. The Nova Sign lobby felt colder this morning. Xander's assistant led us to a conference room where my uncles were already waiting. What are they doing here? I demanded. Xander emerged from a side door. Ms. Clark, please, sit. We have some concerns to address. Concerns? I remained standing. Or conspiracies? Now, Brent smiled. We're all here for the company's best interests. Your uncles raised some valid points about the integration timeline, Xander said, and certain irregularities in the company's recent management. Autumn squeezed my arm in warning. I took a deep breath. What irregularities? Wallace slid a folder across the table. Financial reports showing unauthorized access to company servers, data manipulation, even potential fraud. That's rich, coming from you. We have proof, Brent said smoothly. Unlike your wild accusations at the board meeting. I turned to Xander. You can't seriously be considering their claims? We're considering everything. He wouldn't meet my eyes, including their offer to facilitate the merger under different leadership. The room tilted slightly. They'd gotten to him. Somehow, they'd gotten to Nova Sign. Different leadership? I laughed. You mean them? The ones who killed this deal 6 years ago? We've learned from past mistakes, Brent said. We're prepared to fast-track the integration. With one condition, Wallace added. You step down. Today. I looked at Liam, who had been suspiciously quiet. Did you know about this? His face flushed. Caitlin, maybe we should... Save it. I pulled out my phone, dialing quickly. Hey, Marcus. Remember that Financial Times interview I declined? I'm ready to talk. The room erupted. Don't be stupid, Wallace growled. Think carefully, Xander warned. But I was done thinking. Here's what's going to happen. Either we proceed with our original deal, the one I signed as majority shareholder, or I go public with everything. The sabotage, the kickbacks, the server room theft, everything. You'll tank the company's value, Brent said. Better than watching you steal it. I met Xander's eyes. And Nova Sign's board might have questions about why their VP is entertaining proven corporate saboteurs. Xander paled. How did you... I did my homework. Unlike everyone else in this room, I actually learned from history. My phone buzzed. A text from Autumn. Got it. Ready when you are. I smiled. Oh, and those financial irregularities? Funny how they all trace back to IP addresses in your offices, Uncle Brent. Almost like someone was trying to frame me. You're bluffing, Wallace sputtered. Check your emails. Phones chimed around the room as Autumn's data dump hit their inboxes. Proof of their recent manipulations. traced and documented. You think you're so clever. Brent's voice was deadly quiet. Just like your father. He thought he could outsmart us too. What's that supposed to mean? His heart attack was very convenient, wasn't it? All that stress about missing files, corrupted backups. The implication hit me like a physical blow. You! Prove it, Wallace smirked. I turned to Xander, who looked increasingly uncomfortable. Still want to partner with them? He cleared his throat. Perhaps we should recess to consider. No. I planted my hands on the table. No more recesses. No more games. The deal proceeds as signed, or I walk, and I take everything public. You'll destroy yourself too, Brent warned. Maybe. But I'll take you down first. Silence stretched. Finally Xander nodded. The original deal stands. This isn't over. Wallace stood abruptly. You're right, I said. It's not. Security is currently changing the locks at headquarters. Your personal items will be mailed to you. You can't. Board meeting tomorrow at 9. We'll formalize your resignations then. I gathered my things. Don't be late. It would look irregular. Outside, Liam tried to explain. They approached me last week. I didn't know. Save it for someone who cares. I turned to Autumn. Send everything to our lawyers. Everything. She nodded. What about the Financial Times? I watched my uncles storm out of the building, their carefully constructed world crumbling around them. Call Marcus back, I said. Tell him I have a story about family, betrayal, and justice. He's going to love it. The Financial Times article dropped like a bomb. Family Feud exposes corporate corruption splashed across business sections worldwide. My phone hadn't stopped ringing since dawn. CNBC wants an interview, Autumn said, juggling calls. Bloomberg too, and your mother's called 6 times. Ignore her. I was focused on the stock ticker. Our shares had jumped 30% since opening. Your uncle's lawyers are threatening a defamation suit. Let them. I handed her a stack of documents. Send these to the SEC, anonymous tip. More evidence? Everything I didn't give to the press. Tax evasion, insider trading, the works. I smiled grimly. They want to play hardball? Let's see how they like federal investigators. My office door burst open. Wallace stormed in, face purple with rage, waving the newspaper. You vindictive little... Security! I called calmly. 2 guards appeared instantly. Please escort my uncle out. He's no longer authorized to be here. This isn't over, he spat as they led him away. We made you. We can break you. No, I said quietly. Dad made me. You just made me angry. Autumn brought fresh coffee. Brent's wife is moving their assets offshore. Wallace's son just dumped all his shares. Rats fleeing the ship. I checked my watch. Is everything ready for the NovaSign announcement? Press conference set for noon. Trading floors already buzzing about the merger. My phone lit up with a text from Liam. Please let me explain. Delete. The press conference was a circus. Cameras flashed as Xander and I signed the final merger documents. 8 figures. Just like that. Dad's worthless company was now worth more than ever. Miss Clark! Reporters shouted. What drove you to expose your uncles? How long had you known about the corruption? Was your father's death really from natural causes? I stepped to the microphone. This isn't about revenge. It's about justice. About honoring a legacy that certain people tried to destroy. Clark Freight Solutions was never worthless. It was just waiting for the right leadership. Back in my office, Autumn had more news. SEC just froze your uncle's accounts. They're calling for a formal investigation. Good. I opened Dad's safe one last time, removing the original recorder. Send this to the investigators too. Dad's voice might be gone, but his evidence isn't. Caitlin. My mother stood in the doorway. We need to talk. No, we really don't. I know things, she pressed. About your father's death. About what really happened. I felt cold. What do you mean? Your uncles. They didn't just stress him to death. They made sure his medication was compromised. You knew? My voice shook. All this time? I had no proof, but now with the investigation. She pulled out an old envelope. These are letters your father sent me. Read them. They'll help build the case. I took the envelope slowly. Why help now? Because I was a coward then, and you're braver than I ever was. After she left, I read the letters. Dad's growing suspicions, his fears, his plans to protect the company. Protect me. The final piece clicked into place. Autumn, I called. Contact the SEC again, and get me the best criminal prosecutor in the city. Going for the kill shot? They didn't just steal from Dad. I held up the letters. They murdered him, and I'm going to prove it. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Back off now, or you'll meet the same fate. I forwarded it to our lawyers, then typed a response. Bring it on. I'm my father's daughter, remember? And I learned from the best. The sun was setting over the city as I stood at my office window. Below, news vans still circled the building. My uncles' faces were plastered across every financial network, their empire crumbling in real time. Your father would be proud, Autumn said softly. I touched the nameplate on my desk, now reading Caitlin Clark, CEO. He always said business was like chess, I replied. You have to see 10 moves ahead. And what's your next move? I smiled, watching another SEC vehicle pull up to the building. Checkmate. The arrest warrants came at dawn. I watched from my office window as federal agents led my uncles out of their homes in handcuffs. The morning news caught it all, their rumpled suits, their shocked faces, their wives crying on pristine lawns. Multiple counts of securities fraud, Autumn read from the indictment. Tax evasion, corporate espionage, and now, investigation into first-degree murder. My mother's letters had been the final nail. The FDA found traces of tampered medication in Dad's old prescriptions, preserved by his cautious habit of keeping everything. Ms. Clark, my assistant poked her head in. The prosecutor's here. Diana Roberts, the state's top criminal prosecutor, strode in wearing confidence like armor. We have them. The evidence is overwhelming. Will it stick? They're looking at 20 years minimum, more when we prove the murder charge. She spread photos across my desk. Your father was careful. He documented everything. Not careful enough, I said quietly. On the contrary. Diana held up a sealed envelope. This arrived from his lawyer this morning, to be opened only after arrests were made. My hands shook as I broke the seal. Inside was a single USB drive and a note. For Katie. Now you know why. Autumn plugged in the drive. Video filled the screen. Dad, healthy and strong, recording himself years ago. Katie, if you're watching this, I'm dead, and you've figured it out. Your uncles have been stealing from the company for years. I've gathered proof, but they're watching me. If anything happens to me, everything you need is hidden in the old storage facility on 5th Street. Unit 23B. The key is taped inside your mother's old jewelry box, the one thing they'd never think to check. I sat down hard. He knew they were coming for him. And he left a trail, Diana said. One only you could follow. My phone buzzed. Brent's wife was holding a press conference, crying about her husband's innocence. Wallace's son was cooperating with authorities for immunity. They're turning on each other, Autumn observed, like rats in a trap. I stood up. I need to go somewhere. The storage facility was exactly as Dad described. Unit 23B contained boxes of documents, hard drives, and a letter addressed to me. My dearest Katie, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you directly. They were watching too closely. But I knew you'd figure it out. You always were the smartest one in the family. The company is yours now. Make it something amazing. Love, Dad. Back at the office, the news was exploding. Anonymous sources had leaked details of the murder investigation. The stock market was reacting, but our merger with Novasign protected us from the worst. Liam appeared in my doorway. Can we talk? About how you tried to help them. About how I was trying to protect you. He stepped closer. They threatened to reveal things about your father's death before you were ready. I thought if I played along. You should have told me. I know. I'm sorry. He placed a folder on my desk. This is everything they said to me, everything they planned. The prosecutor might find it useful. I studied him. Why now? Because you deserve the truth. All of it. The day stretched into evening. Autumn brought updates. Brent attempting suicide in custody. Wallace offering to testify against everyone. My mother's letters becoming key evidence. The press is calling it the corporate takedown of the decade, Autumn said. They wanted to play games, I replied, watching the sunset paint the city gold. They just forgot the most important rule. Which is, the Queen is the most powerful piece on the board. My phone lit up with a message from Diana. Murder charges filed. Bail denied. We got them. I walked to Dad's old office, now mine. The sailing ship painting still hung on the wall, hiding an empty safe. All its secrets were out now. Justice served in broad daylight. You did it, Autumn said from the doorway. No, I touched Dad's old nameplate. We did it. He did it. This was always his endgame. And now? I smiled, thinking of the Novasign merger, the company's bright future, the legacy preserved and strengthened. Now, we build something amazing. Just like he wanted. Outside, police lights still flashed against skyscrapers, marking the end of an empire built on lies, and the beginning of something true. The verdict took 15 minutes. Guilty on all counts. I sat in the courtroom, watching my uncles' faces as their world collapsed completely. Life sentences for murder, decades for fraud, their empires, their homes, their reputations, all gone. No remorse, Diana whispered beside me. Even now. Brent stared straight ahead, jaw clenched. Wallace wept quietly. Neither looked at me as they were led away. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Ms. Clark, how does it feel to see justice served? Will you be seeking additional civil damages? Any comment on your mother's testimony? I stepped to the microphones. Today isn't about revenge. It's about truth, about honoring promises. My father built something meaningful, and now we'll carry that forward. Back at the office, Autumn had champagne ready. Novasign's stock hit another record. The integration's ahead of schedule. And the old contracts? All recovered. The clients are staying. They trust you. I picked up a framed photo from my desk. Dad and me at my college graduation. He would have loved this. The technology, the innovation. He sees it, Autumn said softly. Through you. My phone buzzed. Liam. I'm downstairs. One last thing to show you. In the lobby, he held a familiar notebook. Found this in the old server room. It's your dad's original designs for the tracking system. He drew it all by hand. I traced Dad's neat handwriting. Why show me this now? Because you did it. You made his dream real, and... He hesitated. I miss my friend. I'm not the same person you knew. No, you're stronger. He smiled sadly. Coffee sometime? I thought about trust, about second chances. Maybe. Someday. That evening, I drove to the cemetery. The autumn air was crisp, leaves crunching under my feet as I approached Dad's grave. You should see the company now, I said quietly. Everything you imagined, but bigger, better. He knows. I turned. My mother stood there, holding white roses. I come every week, she explained. Tell him everything you've done. How proud he would be. Why didn't you fight harder, back then? Fear. She laid the roses down. The same fear he fought every day, knowing what they might do. But he stayed. For you. And now? Now I'm trying to be brave. Like my daughter. We stood in silence, watching the sunset paint the headstone gold. Back home, I found Dad's last letter in my briefcase. The paper was worn from reading, but the words still burned. Make it something amazing. My phone lit up. Autumn. Tomorrow's schedule ready. Board meeting at 9. Novasign integration review at 11. Lunch with potential investors. I typed back. Add one more thing. 2 p.m. Break ground on the Robert Clark Innovation Center. Her response was immediate. Perfect. I walked to my window, watching the city lights flicker on. The company towers stood tall against the darkening sky, our new logo shining bright. Below, employees streamed out, heading home to their families. Real people, real lives, part of something bigger than profit margins and power plays. Dad's voice echoed in my memory. Business isn't just numbers, Katie. It's people, dreams, legacy. My phone buzzed again. Diana. Wallace wants to talk. Says he has more to confess. I replied, let him. Truth matters more than revenge. The night grew deeper. In offices across the city, our new tracking system blinked to life, connecting points across the globe. Dad's dream, made real. His legacy, transformed. I touched the window glass, seeing my reflection overlap with the glowing company sign. CEO, daughter, survivor. We did it, Dad, I whispered. We made it amazing. The city hummed below, full of stories untold, battles unwon, dreams unrealized. But here, in this moment, justice had prevailed. Truth had won. Love had conquered greed. I got my revenge. But more importantly, I found my purpose. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new battles, new chances to prove myself. But tonight, in the quiet of victory, I finally felt at peace. The war was over, and we had won.